It's going to be my 3-year review of my 2019 Yamaha AR195. So I'm fortunate enough to have a bay that's large enough to hold the boat. So this is where I keep it. And it's nice because I don't have to worry about winter here in Idaho. It gets cold. So it's nice to be able to keep it inside. So I got this really nice. I don't have to fold the tower or anything, right? I got this really nice bay for the boat. So let's see. Where to start. The trailer. The trailer's holding up really good. There's no rust on it. I haven't had any issues at all with the trailer. It's a great trailer. I think probably the only thing I'm gonna probably have to do is pull that belt out and maybe get a new belt or redo it. It's kind of getting all kinked up, so but that's just normal maintenance. You know, nothing nothing to say wrong about this trailer. All the lights still work after 3 years. 3 seasons and 3 years. I did put the dual spare tire holders on here. Got those on Amazon. Those are awesome. And not only does it give you another spare, which you may never need, but what I like about it is that it protects the boat from rocks, right? So I have a lot less chance of rocks hitting the boat driving down the road. And really, when you got a black hole like this, rock chips will kill it. I haven't touched this other than wax it, and there's not a scratch on it, right? And this is where you'll get a lot of road damage. And the other thing you really have to have is a set of rock tamers or equivalent, right? Some kind of guard on your truck. I never tow my boat without those rock tamers on there. So that's important. So that's why I believe there's not really a whole lot of chips or damage at all on this boat. Every year I wax it probably a couple of times a year, a couple of times a season. Again, there's nothing really to say bad about it. It's the outside works. The rub rails are holding up well, no issues. I use bumpers, fenders when I hit the dock, so I've never really scratched it or hit anything, right? The decals have held up well. I think a coat of wax helps keep those in good shape too, right? With keeping the UV off of those. I have the little fire extinguisher on the outside about that mount, and it's handy because I can just pull that little knob on the end and yank it out and use it if I need it. Hopefully I never will have to. Haven't lost any lettering or anything like that. Bilge pump works. All the mats are in great shape. I mean, this is, again, 3 years of use, and I haven't had any big issues. Like I said, all the trailer pieces work well. Now, I am disappointed with the service I've been getting. This had a warranty on it, and I had some issues, and you'll see in my other videos that I had some issues with the cleats coming loose. And these cleats, if they come loose, good luck trying to get to them because it is not easy. Some of them you can get to okay, right? But like this cleat was all wobbling around and loose. And so I took it to the dealer and said, hey, I want the cleats tightened up. And of course that was not covered under warranty, right? So having all those cleats tightened up, and they put some Loctite on them, which I think they should have Loctite from the factory so they don't loosen up. They put some Loctite on them so they wouldn't loosen up. But one thing about the 2019 is that one of the things I had the dealer do was, I saw on later model AR195s these metal or stainless steel drain plugs. So I had them swap out my stock plastic drain plugs with metal stainless steel ones, and those are just a lot more positive engagement when you put them in. They're not as flimsy and cheap as the plastic. But again, that was on the 19. This would come standard on your other later model AR195s. So the pumps, good shape, nothing to say about that. But having these drain plugs and those cleats tightened and I had an issue with the windshield I'll talk about here pretty soon. That was, $350 worth of service work that, in my opinion, well, other than putting in those stainless steel drain plugs, that was my cost for sure, but I shouldn't have had to pay for a lot of this, loose cleats and things like that. That's my opinion. Maybe it's just my dealer. Maybe my dealer is not the greatest dealer. The dealer I use is a dealer in Nampa, Idaho, and yeah, in fact, I think their logo's right here. I don't think they did me any favors, but whatever, right? I think they should have taken care of that, but all good. It got done. The other issue I was having was I had a problem where when I was backing the trailer up, that the wheels would lock up. And what I was told is that shouldn't happen, right? Because he saw, this is actually a magnet that I put on here to hold this brake from falling out, only when I'm backing up. And the reason why is because there's supposed to be a solenoid in there that detects a signal from here, that when you're if you have a reverse signal on your truck, which I do, I definitely do, that the reverse signal engages a solenoid inside of the trailer and that disengages the brakes, right? So they tested that and it all seemed to be working, and they couldn't figure it out. So I continue to use the magnet, but it should, in theory, when you back up, not jam your brakes on, and that's super annoying when you're at the ramp trying to get your boat in, and the trailer brakes are locked up when you're backing up. So that's a problem. I don't know how that'll ever be addressed, but I just use the magnet to hold that in there. Only when I'm backing up. When I'm going down the road, of course, the magnet's not in there. The boat's been really good on fuel economy. Let's have a look on the inside. This is my winter setup, so it's still winterized. I'm getting ready to unwinterize it, and really there's nothing to winterizing it. You just blow the water out of the engine, and I haven't even bothered to fog the engine like a lot of people do. I don't even worry about it. But I put the battery on a charger, so it's my little setup there, and it just keeps the battery maintained. But again, this is 3 years of use, and there's no rips or tears in anything. Everything looks really good. The carpets are nice. No tears on the seats. Speakers seem to be working fine. So this is the other issue I've had, was with this piece that holds the windshield on, and the screw coming loose. I'm not convinced they really fixed it. They said they did, but that screw's still loose, as you can see. And that rod, it should be all the way up and even in there. You can see where it's hit right there when it's come out. And that rod just slides right out. They should really improve the design of that. That's just not a great design. But again, that was part of the $350 that we're supposed to fix it. Again, maybe it's just the dealer I got is kind of crappy. I don't know. Yeah, everything's good to go. Every year I change the oil. I have an oil extractor. Works really good. And I change the filter right there. And change the oil. And again, 3 years, no worries. I run really good synthetic oil in this engine. I've had zero issues. I pulled the air filter open, looked at the air filter. It's perfectly clean. That is a super expensive air filter if you ever have to replace one. Hopefully you don't really, being out on the water, there's not a lot of dirt and debris you suck up. So the filter's been clean. So 3 years I haven't changed it. And if I do have to change it, well, like I said, they're expensive. I've seen some cooling hoses in some people's videos where the cooling hoses are getting kinked up, and when that happens, you lose, out of those 3 outlets there, if you don't have water coming out of those, that means you probably got a pinched hose. I've not had that happen. I checked all my cooling hoses, and none of them are kinked, so I've never had that problem. But again, super easy to maintain this engine. No issues at all with that motor. All really good. This plastic thing, super cheap, but it's held up. but you want to be careful with that because that'll be cracked really super easy. The seat's held up well. The helm's all good. Everything works. There's nothing that has stopped working or broken. Overall, I'm happy with the boat. It performs really, really good. And there's just no issues. I put in an AGM battery, just for a little more security over the power out there, or the electrical power. It's one thing you don't want to lose. I'm going to probably get an emergency jump kit just in case, but that's a really, really good AGM battery, and I take good care of the battery. So, but again, it's all working good, no complaints, happy with the boat. I use the top a lot. I put that out a lot. It's not super easy to put out, and I added some extra straps because I just don't trust the stock straps. These stock straps, there's a seam right there. I'm guessing over time those would just rip. So I'm trying to buy a little time on those straps, and I bought these aftermarket straps. They're just really cheap straps, but I just strap those on just to hold it tight and not rely on sorry, the stock ones. Anyway, that's it. It's all working good. No issues. Would I buy the boat again? Yeah, I'd buy another one for sure. I think they're getting better with the screens and electronics, and it's all working good. So I'd probably buy another one. So yeah, the Yamaha AR195, 3 years, no issues. It's a good boat. And that's all I got to say about year 3 of the AR195.